So the Atlantic originally broke the story of how Donald Trump apparently called veterans and fallen soldiers suckers and losers. He has furiously denied it, and of course, Fox News jumped in the morning with their Bert and Ernie and are expressing skepticism about the report. And now, since then, Washington Post has confirmed the story with several military sources of their own saying, yes, he said it. And then the Associated Press also confirmed the story with also military sources saying, yes, he said it. Greg Gutfeld on Fox News said, it's a hoax. I can't believe it, people can't see it. It's an obvious hoax. Now, here's the breaking news. Jennifer Griffin, Fox News correspondent, has confirmed the story. So she said, I've spoken with 2 senior US officials who were on the trip to France who confirmed to me key details in the Atlantic article and the quotes attributed to the president. That is Fox News confirming, yes, the president called fallen soldiers suckers and losers. So there's more devastating details. So the Fox News correspondent continues, the president would say about American veterans, what's in it for them? They don't make any money. Wow. Now look, I know what a terrible guy Donald Trump is, and I'm not surprised that he would say something like that, and he thinks that way. But guys, I mean, if you're a veteran and you supported this guy, he thinks you're an idiot. It's like, you didn't even make any money off the war. What, did you do it for patriotism? And then you died or you were captured? What a sucker. That's what he thinks of you. There's now countless military sources telling everyone, including Fox News, he definitely said it. And apparently he said it on several occasions. Now, remember, he was supposed to go to 2 cemeteries there when he was in Europe in that trip in France. And this story partly originated from him not going to one of the cemeteries of our fallen soldiers. And here's another quote from a Fox News source. He apparently said, why do I have to do 2? And Griffin from Fox News continues, his staff explained he could cancel, but he was warned they, the press, are going to kill you for this. The president was mad as a hornet when they did, according to this source. So now remember, the Atlantic's sources said one of the things he was concerned about was his hair. Look, guys, we've lost over 180,000 Americans because Donald Trump thought he doesn't look good in a mask. So are you surprised that it was his vanity that, oh, now I gotta go deal with fallen soldiers and it might mess up my hair? And I have a bald spot that I do this weird comb over for, and people might see my bald spot. Who cares about fallen soldiers? They're losers anyway. They're suckers who didn't even make any money off of it. That's how despicable this guy is. It's not me saying it, it's Fox News confirming it. Okay, so there's more. By the way, before I get to more from Fox News, Washington Post also confirmed what I speculated on yesterday when we saw the Atlantic story. I said, look, he thinks they're suckers because they couldn't get out of the war. And his dad paid for a doctor to make up a thing about bone spurs, and he thinks that's what savvy people do. They have a dad who gives them $400 million, and then they cheat their way out of wars. And the Washington Post says there are military officials who confirm that Donald Trump thought, if you can't get out of a war like Vietnam, you're a sucker.
And it's so, of course, his comments about fallen soldiers and people who went to Vietnam, people who died in Vietnam, all of it is gross. But if you take a step back and think about his mindset and what he just thinks about people who don't cheat, who don't lie, who don't game the system. If you're following the rules, if you're one of the unfortunate people who was drafted in that war in Vietnam, and you did what you were supposed to, he thinks you're a loser, you're a sucker. That's the same thing he thinks about anyone who plays by the rules, anyone who doesn't cheat, anyone who isn't a thief and a criminal like Donald Trump. He considers them to be losers and suckers. Like, it's not just about what he thinks about the military. It's about what he thinks of humanity and how people are supposed to function in this country. He loves criminality. He loves the cheating. He supports it, and he thinks that if you don't engage in it, if you're not constantly thinking of ways to screw other people over, well, then you're a loser and a sucker. And he's been screwing over the American people since he came into power. It's amazing, yeah.
So there's one more devastating quote from Fox News, but before I get to that, Anna, you're absolutely right. He's a natural born con man, and he thinks if you're not running a con, you're not doing it right. But guys, who do you think he thinks is the biggest sucker? Anyone who votes for him. He thinks these idiots, they're not even getting rich off of it. I'm getting rich off of it. And these suckers keep voting for me, even though I brazenly lie. I do things against their interests. I gave all the money to who? To the rich. That's the only thing I did was pass a $2 trillion tax cut that went almost all to the rich. Bunch of suckers keep voting for me. That's what he thinks. Now, one more devastating one. Jennifer Griffin, again, Fox News correspondent, says, by the way, her sources are not the military sources from the other papers. They're two former senior administration officials. Okay, so not random leftover people from Obama. Trump said maybe, there's some Obama people left over. No, senior Trump administration officials. And here's the last part of the story. Regarding the president's July 4th military parade planning, during a planning session at the White House, after seeing the Bastille Day parade in 2017, President Trump said regarding the inclusion of wounded guys, quote, "That's not a good look. Americans don't like that." Wow.
Oh God, he's such a bad guy.
He's literally the worst of us. We elected the worst of us, and he's up for election again. He thinks you're an idiot and a sucker if you ever went and fought for this country, and if you vote for him, if you do any of these things. And he's like, yes, suckers, vote for me again. Oh, and if you were wounded in battle, I don't like to look at you, it's uncomfortable. God, he's such a disgusting human being.
How do you not hear those comments or read those comments and not think about people who lost their family members in war? Like people who are also gonna read these comments and see these comments and just know that the most powerful person in this country, if not the world, just does not value their lives at all and actively like despises them and thinks less of them. Yeah.
Look, it's a black mark on this country that we ever elected a monster like this. That there were enough people in the country who voted for this guy in the first place. But 2016, people were super mad at the establishment and desperately want to change. 2020, we all know who Donald Trump is. There's no excuses left. And even Fox News now confirms what a monster he is. So if you still vote for him now, it isn't because you're tired of the establishment. It isn't because you didn't know. Now you know. So let's see what happens in this election.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.